Considered by some to be the sexiest car ever built, the Miura debuted in 1966 as a sleek mid-engine speedster designed to challenge Ferrari. The Lamborghini supercar, who is at its time of production was the arguably fastest car, is currently estimated to be worth between $1 million to $2 million. It has been featured in movies just like The Italian Job, where an orange Miura is seen driving through the Alps in the opening sequence of the 1969 movie. Based on the first full-size car Rolls-Royce made after the war, the original Silver Dawn drophead launched in 1949 and retired in 1954. The name was intended to mark the dawn of a new era for the world and Rolls-Royce's place in it. Designed by a brilliant German mind, they're extremely rare. Only 3 of the original 28 dropheads remain in the US, and those are owned by private collectors. It's estimated to cost about $500,000. Among the first sports cars of the post-war era, the Mercedes SL 300 Gullwing was the fastest production car of its time when it was introduced in 1954. As the first direct fuel injection series production car, the SL 300 could travel at an eye-popping 160 miles per hour. Though about 3/4 of the original SL 300 survive today, many still belong to their original owners with an estimated cost of about $1.4 million. The precursor to James Bond's getaway car, the Aston Martin DB4 is an iconic workhorse. The DB4 is a Grand Tourer that was produced by Aston Martin from 1958 until 1963. A car with the British standard 3.54 final drive ratio tested by the Motor magazine in 1960 had a top speed of 139.3 miles per hour. They're in short supply with an estimated price of $1.2 million, so if you want to drive one, your best bet may be to befriend a collector. Acura's Halo car from 1990 to 2005, the NSX is young but mighty. While it's not as sexy as its European rivals, the Acura NSX showed the rest of the world that supercar specs and daily driver manners could coexist. With a top speed of about 160 miles per hour, it costs between $60,000 to $90,000. Also known as the Cobra, this high-performance descendant of the Ford Mustang was a darling of the late 1960s. With Ford's V8 engine, the Shelby GT350 was a legitimate race car for the street. A 1965 GT350 in decent shape is worth almost $300,000, while a show car quality example could command nearly $600,000 or more. A counterculture classic, the vintage VW Beetle represents simplicity and fun, in other words, motoring at its best. A used Volkswagen Beetle typically costs anywhere from $7,490 to $43,590, depending on the age, mileage, and condition of the car you're considering. If you're looking for a vintage or classic car, however, you can expect to pay a price closer to $15,000 to $28,000. The V10 Dodge Viper GTS of the 1990s couldn't be built today. At 450 horsepower, it's every bit as raw as its predecessor, the Shelby Cobra, without anti-lock brakes or traction control to correct driver error. It's the automotive equivalent of whiskey, neat, no pretense, just one hell of an experience. With an estimated price of $150,000, only about 600 units of this monster was produced. The McLaren F1 announced the British supercar maker's foray into modern racing when it was unveiled in 1992. 6 years later, it set the record for the world's fastest production car, at 242 miles per hour. As the most expensive of the lot, if you have the $20.5 million to attain a McLaren F1, you might as well enjoy it on a racetrack where it can truly spread its wings. The emblem of Big Three muscle cars, the Chevy Corvette is the most collected vehicle in America. The second generation, which spanned 1963 to 1967, is the most iconic American car ever made, says Keith Martin, publisher of Sports Car Market. For a used or restored 1963 Corvette, the price range from $75,000 to $165,000 depending on the condition of the car.